Welcome to the show. Today we have Kirsten Grimes here with us. She is from the show Married at First Sight Nashville season 16, and it is a Lifetime and Netflix show. So a lot of you have probably watched it already. On the show, she got married to somebody before ever meeting them and is here to chat all about it with us. Kirsten's also an influencer and a real estate agent here in Nashville. Outside of her professional pursuits, Kirsten finds joy in spending quality time with family and friends, exploring new destinations through travel, and indulging her culinary passions through cooking. She also has a podcast with other Married at First Sight Nashville season 16 cast members, and it's called the D-List Diaries. So, welcome, Kirsten.
Hey, Alyssa, thank you so much for having me. I always get
Oh
super
my God.
nervous when it's time to chit chat. So thank you for having me. How are you doing
Yeah.
today?
Oh my gosh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm making it 1 second at a time. Yeah, 1 minute at a time.
I know, survived all the snow. I'm so glad it's done now. Kids are back in school. It's all rolling. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? And now it's time for the weekend, so now they're about to be back home.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. Gosh, okay. So I said it a little bit in your bio, but like, tell us about yourself and maybe transition right into what was life like before you were on the show?
Oh wow. We'll probably have to have another meetup for me to tell you about myself. But
Right.
I'll tell you about the woman that I am today.
Okay. Yes, I love that.
Yes, yes. So the woman that I am today, of course, I wear many hats in my field. Like you said in the bio, I'm a real estate agent here in Nashville. I've been an agent for about 8 years, so I know the area very well. I'm such a foodie. I actually feel like a tourist in my own city. I'm actually a native, which is very rare. I'm a unicorn
Oh my
here.
gosh,
So yeah,
amazing.
I know, right? I'm a unicorn. So I love to go out
Mm.
and enjoy the new restaurants, fine dining. It's so much fun. I just enjoy that I'm so close to my family because my family lives here. So I get to go to church and see my family and have family dinners, family conversations, and all the things family. And sometimes family separation. You know, sometimes when your family is like, okay, I need some time away from y'all. But I love spending time with my family. And so it's just like being a businesswoman and just finding that balance and juggling multiple things. Like you said, I have a podcast with Gina and Nicole. D-List Diaries is going well. I will say that's an outlet for me because it's like girls talk every week. So I'm like, hey girls, let's catch up. What are y'all watching? What are y'all doing? Like, what are you stressed out about? You know, so it's like we're learning
Totally.
something new about ourselves every time we actually have a podcast. And that's what life is about. It's like you get to know
Hmm.
yourself on a different level because we always are evolving as people. Like we go through different seasons of life. So right now I'm in my single season, of course. So I am dating.
Yeah.
And we can talk all about that a little
Oh
later.
my gosh, I cannot wait. Yeah.
I know, right? So as you talked about, I was on the show Married at First Sight season 16 Nashville, and that was definitely a pivotal time in my life because I knew I wanted to be married, and it kind of was a struggle for me to accept, hey, I'm in my 30s. I'm not married. I don't have children. So that's something that I do desire. But you do have to put in a lot of work. Sometimes I question myself today when I hear about the moms and their stories and about split anus and your lactation and your boobs leaking everywhere and you having to wear Depends. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I
It's
want
a
my body.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, and then all the tears and the hormones, and trying to get the kids in the
Ooh,
car seat
yeah.
when they don't want to get in there. And so I
Mhm.
used to be an educator, so I worked with kindergartners, elementary
Okay.
students, first graders. I've worked in
Right.
insurance. I've done a lot of things. I'm a well-rounded woman. I'm educated about a lot of different things, but
Amazing.
needless to say, my hat goes off to all the mothers out there. Kudos to y'all because that's a lot of hard
Yeah.
work. But it's also a lot of hard work when you're a teacher and you're trying to manage a classroom with 32 kids and you have to
Oh
see
my
them
gosh.
for
Yeah.
8 hours, 5 days a week. We're mothers in the classrooms too. Um,
Right.
you
Yes,
have
you
to
are.
co-parent, so you have to co-parent together with the
Yes.
parents. But like we all have to, we're all in this together. But
Mm,
as far as like
raising
going on the
babies.
show, yeah. But as far as like going on the show, Alyssa, when I tell you, I was just in a point in my life, I started to feel stressed too. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself
Yeah.
into? The questionnaire for the show, it was like a 4 to 5 month process before we started filming.
Wow.
So the
That's
questionnaire was
right.
300 questions just to even start the process. So I took out my laptop. It took me 3 days to fill out these questions. And I'm telling you, it's
Wow.
like a modern day arranged marriage. Because they
Yeah.
asked me, what am I looking for? Tell me about Kirsten. Tell me about your future husband. Like, what are your qualities and characteristics? What do you value? What do you want your husband to value? Like, what do you want him to bring to the table? Which is very important, right? Because you're married, you know about marriage, and
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
about what you bring to the table and what your husband brings to the table, and how it sometimes can also switch depending on what type of day you had, what type of day he had, what's going on at work, what's going on the podcast. Like, it's just, you have to know
Mhm.
how to share your life together and how to be patient and give each other grace. And so for me, I've had to relearn and unlearn certain habits and behaviors and things that I'm like, okay, Kirsten, you can no longer be selfish anymore. You have to be selfless. You have to be empathize with people. And teaching taught me that, because that was one of our core values when I was a teacher. I didn't know how to empathize with people. I'm like, if I can do it, y'all can do it. I don't care what kind of morning you had. I had a crazy morning too. Leave it at the door. Like, we got to get
Right,
past our day.
right.
So sometimes I'm a little hard on myself and I project that onto other people, which I had to learn, like, don't do that. That's not kind. You can't project that
Mhm.
onto other people. I'm a very strong woman, and sometimes I'm too strong for myself to where I do need to lean in on other people. And that's always hard for me to be vulnerable. It's hard for me to lean in. So I had to learn how to do that in my
Mhm.
30s. I wasn't
Wow.
taught that. We didn't have that in my household. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
grow up with my father living with me and my mom teaching me like it's okay to express how you're feeling. She would ask me what's wrong, but I wouldn't have words. I didn't know how to define the
Mm.
words to do that. And so I struggled with vulnerability and learning how to depend on people at this age. And I'm still working on it. I'm still a work in progress. So
Mhm.
that's kind
For
of like
sure.
what pushed me to go onto the show, because I knew I wanted that, but I also struggled because I'm like, is this what God wants me to do?
Yeah, for
Is this what he
sure.
wants me to have? Am I supposed to be married this way? So it was a battle. Like, honestly, it was a
Yeah.
battle. And I always battle with myself instead of surrendering and instead of having that belief and that trust. And I go to church on Sundays. So I always go to
Mhm.
church. I read my Bible app every morning, but I'm still a work in process.
Oh, yeah, we all are, for
Answering those
sure.
300 questions and interviewing and sending in photos and videos of myself and just getting myself into a blind situation was very stressful. And then going on there and knowing that it's a million eyes on me and representing
Yeah.
myself and my family members and my sorority sisters in church and everything that I'm a part of, I knew this was bigger than just me. And it was moments where I wanted
Mm.
to back out, but I couldn't because I was
Mm.
under a contract. And when you're under contracts, you have to pay like fifty
Oh,
thousand
yeah.
dollars to get out of it. And I
Mm.
said, I
Yeah.
want my money to stay in my savings because I like money. I
Right.
said, so if
Yes.
this is what I signed up for now, Kirsten, you have to do what you have to move forward, because when I start something, I
Yeah.
finish it. When I commit to something, I'm in it. And so listen, it was stressful. Needless to
Wow.
say, I know that was a mouthful, and I'm sorry, but do ask
My
all the other
gosh. No,
questions.
that was so good. And like, wow, to answer all of those questions and like it doesn't sound like they were just one word answers. They were like
Mhm.
very philosophical, deep, like emotional questions that you had to go through to really figure out who they could best match you with. And
Mhm.
wow, that's an intense process. And also, you said there was 5 months leading up to that. And
Mhm.
knowing that your name might still be in the mix, like, what was it like finally getting the call when they were like, we found somebody for you?
No, so that was in person. It wasn't a call.
Oh my gosh.
That was,
Okay.
they came
Okay.
to one of my open houses, and Pastor Powell told me, he asked me certain questions, and he was
Mhm.
very detailed about the questions, and he was describing the man that they found for me, but I didn't watch the show. So I don't know the format for it. And it's the same format for every single season. And
Yeah.
so had I watched the show, I would have knew. And so my friends are
Mhm.
like, they're about to tell you you have a husband. My friends who watch the show, I'm like, no way. I was like, I don't know how this works, and that's so
Right.
I don't ever believe people. I always believe myself. And so I'm
Right.
like, no way, they're not about to tell me. He's not about to tell me anything. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't even believe they're gonna select me. And so because it's several women that signed up for this that genuinely wanted
Right.
to be a part of the process, and I'm nervous. And so
Mhm.
I'm like, just tell me, like, and then he was like, we found you a match. I was like, oh, yeah. I was
Mm.
scared. I was terrified, Alyssa. I was so scared. because it was finally happening. And
Yes.
all I could think, what did I just get myself into? What did I sign up for? How can I do this? So I started going
Hits you
down
like a ton of bricks.
yes, I started going down a rabbit hole. I was like, what am I going to tell my family? Who am I going to tell?
Wow.
I didn't tell a lot of people about this. I only told the
Wow.
people who told me about the show, which was my cousin, my sorority sister, which is one of my super close friends, and my best friend. So
Wow.
my mom and dad and sister and brother had
No way.
no clue I filled out 300 questionnaires. They
Oh
didn't
my
know I was doing an interview. They didn't know I
god.
was going through a TV show. They had no idea whatsoever because when I keep something to myself, I keep it to myself. So I
Yeah.
was just nervous. And my cousin was excited because I was at her house because I had her house on the market, which I
Oh,
sold her house.
nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes. So we filmed in her house. So she's like, you're getting married. She's excited. I don't even know how to find the words. So I had to
Right.
pick out his ring that day. After they told
What?
me the same day, I had to go in the van and pick out his ring, Alyssa, to a man that I've never seen in my life.
Oh my gosh. That
I
is
was like,
wild. It's like, surprise, family, I'm
you
getting married. Like,
like
how,
I
what
was
was that like? Was it a week later or?
the timeline was a couple of days. No, I
Oh
had to tell them like a couple of days. So I had a picnic in the park in Centennial Park here in Nashville, one of the most popular parks that all the tourists come to see because it has the parking lot
yes.
there. So I had a picnic in the park. It was so hot. We were sweating our makeup off.
Ooh.
My mom had no idea. She was
Oh my
clueless, like a
god.
real
Wow.
surprise. And so my
Wow.
cousin came, my mom came, and my sorority sister everybody was in attendance. And so my mom was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like she saw the cameras, but I think I told her something along
Right.
the lines like, "I'm filming for the show. I'm about to have a picnic. I need you to show up."
Mhm.
Something very generic. I didn't give her full details. I don't ever give people full details unless it's hard for me to elaborate. That's something else I struggle with.
Yeah,
But
no, it's good.
yeah, so just a couple of days later, I was engaged. Like as soon as Pastor Cal told me, "Hey, you're getting married," I said, "Oh my gosh, like what?
Wow.
I'm getting what?"
Yeah.
I couldn't
Oh my
understand it and wrap my brain
gosh.
around it. It was just
Yeah.
still mind blowing for me. Like it was so
Right.
surreal. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting married." And so we
Yeah.
also on the questionnaire we had to fill out what we want our cake to look like, our wedding dress, the music. Like, did I want a mermaid dress, a asymmetrical, or
Wow.
a gown? Like all different, the different styles of gowns. So,
Right.
and when I tell you, Alyssa, my wedding was beautiful.
Yes, it
And
looked so beautiful on the
it was
show.
so much fun. My best friend was able to do my hair, and my family was
Oh.
able to be there. My very close friends. My brother walked me down the aisle. My dad wasn't interested in participating in the show. Neither was my sister,
Mm,
which is good because I don't know, that would have been a lot of drama for the TV, which was
yeah.
best. And some things are best because, like, my dad loves me, my sister loves me, and like marrying a stranger and inviting someone into our family on TV is just nonsense to them. They're like,
Yeah.
what? They're like, has Kirsten went insane?
Right. Yeah.
They're like, what's wrong with
Definitely.
her?
Oh gosh. Yeah. And so this leads us to your wedding day, which I feel like is probably one of the most iconic scenes from the season where he goes in to kiss you and
Alyssa, don't do
there's a
this to
little
me.
cheek turn.
I'm like hiding right now. I don't know if people are gonna listen to this on YouTube or watching on YouTube or listen to this on your podcast.
Yeah.
Listen, when I
Mhm.
tell you, because I don't allow men to kiss me. I don't care. It's just something that I
Yes.
freak out about. Like I love
Mhm.
hugs. I love other forms of intimacy, but my lips, I just don't know where his lips been, who he's been kissing. He was a stranger. He didn't ask me if
Yeah.
he could kiss me.
Right.
And then it was just too much. I was overwhelmed on that day. I was literally
Mhm.
shaking before I walked down the aisle. Like tears almost started running down my face before I
Oh.
walked down the aisle. I was just distraught, honestly. And
Mm.
so I was like, that's the only thing that kept running through my brain. What did I get myself into? And you cannot back out. Like I had
Mhm.
to walk down the aisle. If it was up to me, Y'all wouldn't see me. I
Yeah.
would say because
Well,
it took hours for us to get down there. They woke us up at like 6 a.m. We didn't get married until 1 or 2 o'clock in the daytime. So I'm up preparing for this day and filming and doing all the production things. And I told my friends if I'm highly attracted to him, then maybe I'll kiss him. And then it's like kissing somebody on TV. You can't take that back.
right,
And so
right.
I
And
was
in
like,
front of everybody, like your loved ones who are there. Yeah,
but
totally.
here's a secret. Everybody told him to ask me for a kiss. And so we kissed behind our cake, our wedding cake. So it
Oh
was
my gosh.
a camera
Okay. So
kiss.
you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was brave enough to do so, but it was off camera. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
nothing wrong
good.
with a quick little pick.
Right. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Okay.
we call it the hidden kiss. And also our cake was delicious. And guess what? We didn't even get to
What?
eat our cake. We had a small piece
No,
when we
why
met each other.
not?
We looked for
Oh,
our cake the entire wedding night. And I think they threw it away. We were upset. We
are
said
you
we need the
serious?
we requested the bakery's information because
Yeah,
we wanted a piece of that cake and we never got a piece. And we were upset.
bummer.
I love
Okay.
desserts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should probably try to still hook you up with some of that cake at some point.
I know, right? We deserved a
Yeah.
piece of that cake. It was a
I
long night for us.
know, for real.
We stayed up to almost 24 hours to 4 a.m. in the morning. And then I got
So that's
upset.
how long filming was?
I got upset. I said,
My
whatever y'all need,
gosh.
tell me exactly what y'all need so we can do it and go to bed. Because I was like, enough is
Wow.
enough. I was like, enough is enough. I'm not gonna have this.
Mhm.
I've been polite and I'm getting cranky. And when I don't have
Yeah.
enough rest, I'm not a nice person. Nobody
Mhm.
is.
Do you think okay, so were there elements of the show like do you think they purposefully did that because they would like to start some drama or like let's keep them up late so then some more or like they'll get more drunk, things will ensue. Like did you ever like feel any of that sort of thing like on set where it's like they're kind of trying to like get some things going here?
Well, let me just tell you this because I used to watch reality TV in college. I used to watch Basketball
Mhm.
Wives and Flavor of Love
Yeah.
and
Those are
all
so
these
fun.
crazy shows. Yeah, all these crazy shows. The Heels. I used to watch all the
Mhm.
shows. Yeah, you know about the
I
shows.
know. I love them. Yes.
And so when it comes to TV and when it comes to production and entertainment, that's their job. Like
Right.
not all the time, but I call it trash TV because I'm like, this is Love and Hip Hop, all the shows. I'm like, this is for people's entertainment at home, but I always know who I am. I don't care what
Mhm.
situation I'm put in, on camera, off camera, in real life, behind closed doors. I know the woman that I am and I know how I'm going to carry myself when
Oh
any
yeah.
opportunity is presented to me because it's like you have to be mindful of your actions. And so I'm always
Mhm.
mindful of my actions because I don't ever want to embarrass myself or others. That's just not a good look to me. And it's
Right.
like I can get my point across and I may be frustrated or calm, but it was several times that I was upset and frustrated by my husband, by production, by people's comments, by whatever people try to spin. Several times throughout the entire film that I was upset or frustrated to where I didn't say anything because if I was to say something, I knew it was going to come off the wrong way. So I had to take a moment to figure out how to properly articulate my thoughts, which is something I always struggled with because I'm a very sharpshooter. I'm very direct.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay, let me say this and let me be kind in my words when I say it because once I say something to say it and I mean what I say and the delivery may not have been the best, but I always mean what I say. And so that's why it was very important
Mhm.
for me to be able to articulate my thoughts once I am calm because I don't think that you
Yeah.
should ever
I
speak out
think
of frustration and anger.
yeah, that's a really great outlook that you had on it and just going into things and knowing that and from just your love of reality TV anyways, you're kind of like, okay, all this drama happens and you know, some of it could probably be produced and whatever, but like you're going into it being like, okay, my friends and family are watching this. I'm representing like my church and other things like
Mhm.
and you wanted to give your best self
Mm-hmm.
through the show and really show truly who you are to the audience, no matter the editing and everything. And you truly did a great job of that too. So
Thank
I
you.
commend you for that because I know I'm sure there's so many situations and things that could have tipped you off or and definitely tip other people off where it's
Yeah.
like, they start spiraling and things.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just a great way that you kind of went about things. You did kind of mention feedback from others. Have you had any feedback like online or anything since the show has happened and has it been positive or negative and how have you kind of dealt with that since the show?
So since the show, when like the first episodes, the very first episode one, I would have anxiety every week on Wednesdays.
Oh,
Yes, I would
yeah.
cry because of what people would say to
Aw.
me on the internet. It was very rude, and I could
Oh, that's
understand why.
terrible.
Yeah, like, and I stopped watching the show on episode 7, so I've still never watched the full season because it's so triggering,
I'm
because it's like people
sorry.
will judge you based off the 2 minutes that they see on TV. And I know who I truly am, and I know who loves me. God loves me, my family loves me, and my friends love me. And so they truly
Mhm.
know who I am. And so it was just very disgusting sometimes to see certain
Mhm.
pieces of what was portrayed on TV, because I know that I'm very kind. I know that I'm genuine. And I just know the woman that I am. So it was difficult to watch that. And we would have watch parties. We had a very good support system within our season, and I'm so grateful that I went through those moments with my cast members. And that's
Yeah.
why we're still close and we have the connection that we have today, because we did experience something together. We did lean on one shoulder. We did text in our groups and say, I can't believe this, or did you see what happened? Or because sometimes we did not know what was going on in each other's marriages until we watched the show. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, you were going through that? Wow, I can't even believe that. Like, oh, that
Mhm.
was what was happening with you. And sometimes I was so stressed out to the point where I would just sleep. I just
Wow.
go to bed. After filming, I would go to bed. And then I had to stop reading the comments on Instagram and social media platforms, because I'm like, come to Nashville and I will show you who I am if you have something nasty to say
Right.
about me. Because what you don't do is say something nasty about someone that you really don't even know. And then when
Mm-mm.
people meet me in person, I mean, people still meet me to this day. I was just out last week on Valentine's Day and at the grocery store 2 days ago, and people like, oh my gosh, I just finished your season on Netflix, because now we're on Netflix. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What's your name?
Yes.
I'm always kind to people when I see them. And I don't like talking to about the show when I'm out in public, but that's what they know
Mhm.
me from. So I
Right.
talk a little bit about it, but then I like to get to know people. Like, tell me your story. Like, tell me
Right.
if about your
Yeah.
children. Like, what are you doing tonight to have a good time? Like, what are you doing in Nashville? Where are you going? So I
Yeah.
kind of flip
That's
it back on
cool.
them, because I'm like, oh, like, let's not, girl. I'm trying to have dinner. I'm like, let's
Totally. Yes.
not. My
Gosh,
goodness.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so spoiler alert, if you have not watched the show,
Uh-oh.
things did not quite work out with you and the person you married. Have you spoken to him since that's all gone down?
Oh yeah, him and
Oh,
we're very
good.
cordial. Like, I will say that he's an amazing individual. He's very intelligent, he's fun, he's creative. Like, he has so many. I honestly thought when they were describing him at our wedding that I thought his family was I thought they were referring to me. I'm like, we're the
That's
same person.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah, we had so many commonalities to the point to where I'm like, this is not gonna work out, because I'm you in your body and you're me
That's
in my
hilarious.
body. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, that's why they say opposites attract. Him and I were too
Mhm.
much alike, and
Yeah.
we clashed a lot. And sometimes I just feel like he was a little too sassy, and I'm like, I need you to be masculine. I need masculinity, because sometimes I need to be more feminine, and I know sometimes I could be too dominant because I'm the oldest of five, so I've always
Mhm.
depended on myself and got things done.
Right.
His grandmother, the thing that brought us back together, because I was gonna be done with him. Like, I had canceled
Mm.
him when he said that he didn't want to be with me. The only reason I canceled him when he said he didn't want to be with me, because he wouldn't communicate that to me when I asked him before decision day what was going to be his
Oh,
decision. And so
that's
when
a
people do
bummer.
that, I feel like that's so shady, because tell me now, don't
Mhm.
wait to tell me on TV in front of millions of people. Tell me now
Yeah.
so that I can be mentally prepared, first of all, so I can prepare
Mhm.
my mind. And we would have been on the same page. Him and I'm like, don't hide
Mhm.
information from me. That is so not fair. So I wasn't gonna say anything to him after our decision day, but when he lost his grandma shortly after
Mhm.
our decision day was maybe like 2022, like the last week in September, first week in October, his grandma passed away days after, like the first week in October. And he was so close to his grandmother. She came to our wedding. I
Wow.
met her. Like she basically helped raise him. And so that's when I had sympathy. And the soft
Mhm.
spot of Kirsten came out, and I texted him and I said, my condolences to you and your family, whatever you need. I will continue to pray for y'all. Please let me know if y'all need something. You know,
That's
because
so nice of you to do that.
yeah, and that's meaningful, and that's the relationship that we had. Although
Mhm.
things didn't work out, it's important when someone loses a very close relative to be there for them. And so I was there for him emotionally, and she brought us back
Oh.
together. His grandmother brought us back together because
Oh,
if it wasn't for
yeah.
grandma, I probably wouldn't have anything to say to him.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's really I love that story that, kind of through the pain of that, it did bring you guys back together and,
Mm-hmm.
it probably like turned a new leaf
It
over on your
did.
relationship too. Yeah,
It
for
did.
sure.
And she still sends us signs. Like she sends both of us signs
Oh.
all the time. So one time when we recorded Where Are They Now, his grandmother loves feathers. So on the ride to Where Are They Now, a feather flew in my car. And so
Oh my
mhm.
gosh, I love
It's
those
weird
signs.
how
They're
yeah, it's weird
amazing.
how it happens. But yeah, I was like, and
Whoa.
I kept the feather and gave it to him. I said, your grandmother came to see me today.
Oh, I love that so much. That is
Hmm.
so sweet that you
Hmm.
were so thoughtful like that with him. I love that.
And he was the
That's
same
so
way with
cool.
me. So it's like I love that we
Yeah.
can reciprocate that. And so like now being friends, he still answers the phone. If I text him, he'll text me back.
Oh,
Or if he texts me, I respond back. Like we do little check-ins sometimes, but we both moved forward like in life.
yeah.
But I'm still like, who you dating? Where's she at? What she look like?
Yeah,
I'm like
right?
all in his
Oh.
business still. I'm like, I need to know before the world knows. I always feel
Right.
like he owes
Yeah.
me, but he kind of does. Like we're
Right.
still associated with
Yes.
each other. So tell me before the
Mhm.
world knows. So I just feel like that's how
Yeah.
you're supposed to be with each other when you're like truly connected. Like, let me know, like,
Mhm.
not only for my own sake, but for the world's sake. Like,
Right.
I don't want to find out.
So, yeah. So you said you're kind of dating and back in the pool right now. Is there anyone that you're seeing over and over again, or is it pretty casual at the moment?
I'm dealing with someone who I've been seeing on and off for 5 years, and
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I went back to him after the show. We started back dating. He was nice enough to take me back, but it hurt his heart to see me on the show. And
Okay.
so we're working through that, but it's just things that I feel that men should know to do for a woman. And I feel like a lot of men are lacking that nowadays. And but I'm like, you are more than capable. Like you're intelligent. And it just blows me when they don't. And I'm like, what is it that I'm doing to attract what they're not doing? And I'm like, it's not me, it's them. So I constantly battle through my brain, like, okay, what kind of woman am I portraying to them in order for me to be treated a certain way? So it's a
Mm,
lot. And my friends are like, honey, no, it should be no confusion when you meet a man. You will meet the right man when it's the right time, and it will not, and it says that in the Bible. Like it won't be any confusion. And so
yeah.
it's very difficult out here to date some of these men when they don't even know how to love themselves and to show love to others, because you have to love yourself in order to you have to know love and want to be loved to give love to. So
Yes, that's so
it's just,
true.
yeah, it's so much that goes into that. So I need a lover man. Like at this point, I need a man
Yeah.
that loves himself, that knows how to give love and wants to receive love. So just pray for
Mhm.
me, Alyssa. And if you have
Yes,
any good
I
candidates
will.
or
I
friends
know.
or your friends that know friends, Send me his profile and not his Instagram profile. Tell him, like, let me know where he works, how he treats his mother, like how he treats himself, if he has
Yeah.
children, how he caters to them. I need to know all that information before I even go on the first date.
Yeah.
I need a screening done. That's where I am in life
Mhm.
because I'm 35 and I do not have time to waste. Like, my eggs are getting old. I'm not going to freeze them. Like, I need someone who is a man of
Mhm.
God and who just wants to be loved because I have love to
Yeah.
give and I'm still working
Mhm.
on it. But I love myself way too much, honestly. And so I have to pull back from that because I'm like, Kirsten,
Mhm.
show love and give love. Like, you love yourself, but show others you love them and be
Mhm.
thoughtful and be kind and like calm
Yeah,
and
for
soft.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so would you say that anything has changed in what you're looking for in a partner, like from before the show and then after the show now? Or is it still pretty much like these are the standards I have and this is like where he's got to meet me and that sort of a thing?
I feel like my standards are still the same from the show. Like, I like
Okay.
men who are
Yeah.
masculine. I like men who are hands-on. I
Mhm.
like men who protect and provide. I like men who have emotional connections. I like men who are intellectual. I like men that are adventurous. These are some of the things that I said that I am interested in a man on the show. I like men who are
That's
family
great.
oriented. And I
Mhm.
received everything from my partner that they partnered me with, but he wasn't the man that was for me. He's an
Right.
amazing man. Like, he has his whole PhD, like he's a mentor, but he wasn't mine. He wasn't for me.
Mm.
And so he was family oriented, willing to change my tire when it had a nail
Yeah.
in it. All the things, left me money in the bathroom on the counter when he went out of town. So he did sweet things and I like sweet gestures like that, but he wasn't, like, the
Mhm.
physical attraction wasn't there. And
Mhm.
so I'm not always caught up on physical attraction because if you review every man that I've dated, none of them look alike. I date people
Wow.
based on how they treat me.
I
And
love
so
that.
that's what's important to me. So no, my standards are still the same.
That's great.
But I do say, like, I want a man that is heaven sent, basically, like a man of
Yeah.
God. I want a man of God.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I really want. And not saying
Mhm.
that they have to be thou so holy and go to church every single day and watch Bible study and do all the things, but have a connection and know how to treat a woman and know how to be a giver and not just a receiver. Because sometimes I feel like men like to just receive, 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 take, 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 take.
Mhm.
Like, when are you gonna make the effort and put in the initiative to make this relationship be reciprocated? So I feel like that's what I struggle with right now
Mhm.
as I'm dating, because it's like, I don't want to be the woman saying, "Oh, let's go on a date." No, call me and text
Right.
me and say, "Hey, hello, beautiful. I hope you had a wonderful day today. I would love to take you on a date at 8 p.m. tonight." Don't call me
Mhm.
over talking about let's cook at home and do Netflix and chill. No, I'm not coming to your house.
Yeah.
I
You
can
wanna
Netflix
be
and chill by myself.
pursued. You want someone to
Correct.
plan things for you. You want, like, the effort to be put in, and, yeah, I think those are great things that you will find someday, and if you're listening and have somebody
Amen.
with all these qualities that Kirsten is talking about, send her a little DM, send her some profiles, and, let's find you somebody.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do the heart thing with your phone. I totally forgot about that. My kids love doing that on FaceTime.
I do too. I do
It's so
too. It
good.
worked. You only can, like, get it to work
I
once or twice.
know.
There it is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Oh,
send
so
me some
cute.
love. We might have to start a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast looking for love for Kirsten
I
at this point,
know.
because
I know we should. Yeah, make our own show about it where, get
where
some
men call in
contestants
and they tell
and
us,
yeah, oh
yeah,
my gosh. Yes.
like, call in, tell me a little bit
Totally.
about yourself. I'm listening. I'm all
Yeah.
ears. Like, tell
Yes. It's like
me.
old-fashioned dating game stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Love it.
need that because people are so caught up on Tinder and on Instagram
Mhm.
and valuing a woman for the wrong reasons, for her external values. Like, no, women are more than just like the exterior. We're so much more than that. But
Yeah.
men nowadays, honey, that's why they get scooted to the sidelines. Like, scoot, scoot. Like, I
Mhm.
don't even want to look at you.
Right. Totally. Oh my gosh. You open up so much just about your life and your love life and the show. And I thank you so much for doing that and just like being so vulnerable for our audience. It's been awesome. And I know you've been through so much with it, like good and bad. And you're just like, you roll with the punches and you really like take things as they are and learn from them and grow. And it's just amazing to see everything that you've been through and the woman who you are today and who you are growing to be as well. It's really cool. But tell us more. I know you have a lot of things going on, like outside of your love life, of course. Like, tell us about your podcast and real estate and all the fun things you have going on.
Yes. So about the podcast, it's like we're doing so great. It started
I
from
know.
Gina's salon, like to one microphone. We all have our microphones now. We have over maybe about, I want to say 36 episodes we record every week. We're starting to have special guests on there. We're having people who have been on previous TV shows. So it's fun. And I love that it's a fun outlet for us. And now it's turning into a business. It's eventually going to be an LLC. We're working on sponsorships and it's
Love.
growing. Yes, it's growing. So I love to watch it. It's like our little baby right now. So it's still in this like beginning stages and it's just like crawling. Right now we're crawling. So we're crawling in viewers on YouTube. We're on all the platforms, Spotify, podcasts, Apple Music, I think it's like 7+ platforms that we're on. So I'm appreciative just to be a part of it because Nicole is like running the ship on this. We're going on, and then I sometimes will dive in and text Nicole and say, hey, how can I take something off your plate? What can I work with? Do I need to make posts on Instagram? Sometimes I pitch us to different companies. We're going on Talk of the Town next month to tell News Channel
Yay!
5.
Awesome. So fun.
Yeah, so I reached out to them randomly one day. I wouldn't say randomly, it was semi-intentional because I do try to work on being more intentional sometimes and being
Mhm.
mindful and useful of my time and my days. So I was like, someone went on Talk of the Town. Let me, you know, ask them if we can come on. Like, we're D-list diaries. Have us on the show. Or y'all should be on our show. So I reached out to them and sent an email and they was like, yeah, sure, of course. When we just finished your season, we're super excited. I was like, oh. So that was something that excited me for this year that I'm looking forward to first quarter. So we're doing well. Like we're trending up right now and we've been
Mhm.
trending top 100. So we
Woohoo.
like I market our I know, right? A lot of things to
That's
strut right
great.
now. So I've really been like making for sure that I post consistently every weekend. Like tune into episode 37. You have to check this out. Don't miss it. Catch up this weekend on your downtime while the kids are napping, while you're on the way to drop them off. I don't know. Listen to Dealer's Diaries. You know all about the podcast
Yes.
life. You can definitely
Oh,
relate
yeah.
on how you
I
have to
know, it's a
market and
hustle
brand
for
yourself.
sure.
For
Oh,
sure, it's
yeah.
a real hustle, like sending out
Definitely.
the emails, responding, getting the
Mhm.
structure together for the shows. Like Nicole does all that. So like I said, I commend her and I come in however I can, whenever I can. I'm more of the Instagram manager, marketing manager, if per se.
Mhm.
So I'm super excited about our podcast and I can't wait to see where it takes us in 2025. And I just enjoy working with her and Gina. It's just such a pleasure to be a part because they were going to do it together initially. And I was like, hey, can I be a part? And they're like,
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So I was like, okay, great. And so I show up every single meeting. We record once a week and we put our podcast every Monday. So I love that. And so as far as real estate has been a very unique market. When I tell
Yeah,
you real estate is more of a hustle than anything I've ever done in my life because
I'm
you have to build
sure.
trust with people. It's tough. And I just think that when people watch these shows, they don't show the behind the scenes of what we really deal with. Like it's almost like the
Nope.
podcast. Like you have to send out emails, you have to write letters, you have to make phone calls, you have to build relationships with other people. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a property, which is the most money you'll ever spend in your life. So it's
Mhm.
hard to get people to buy in. And then everybody's like, well, I'm renting. Why would I even buy? I don't want to have home buyers issues. If my HVAC or my roof goes out, if the home floods or if the tornado comes, what's the deal with that? So then you got to convince people, well, it's about the appreciation and equity and it's generational wealth. And so I
Right.
do love real estate. It's my passion. I enjoy educating people on why it is important to be a homeowner and like the benefits of everything, regardless of if you do have to replace your HVAC or the floors or the dishwasher or the washer, the dryer, anything that goes into your house or on the outside. It's worth it. It's memories, it's yours. And once you pay it off, you can invest and buy another one, or before you even pay it off, you can still take a HELOC out and buy another one. A HELOC is a home equity loan that you can use to purchase another house. So I like to teach people how to have multiple properties. But it's
That's
fun to
awesome.
me. And like it kind of goes back to the educator in me. And I like to like tell people all the knowledge. Like if I have knowledge, I'm definitely going to share it. So I just
Mhm.
enjoy watching people find their starter homes, their dream homes. Even if you need to downgrade, I like to help people get rid of something and help them buy something else. Like you have empty nesters. So when people's children go off to college, they don't need a 5 and 6 bedroom house. They can get a nice condo in Nashville and live their best lives, honey. Or guess what they can do? Keep that 5 or 6 bedroom, rent it out, take the equity out of that one, go buy a condo and still have a source of income to pay the condo. So
Mhm.
you just have to
Totally.
weigh your options and see what's best. And that's something that I have learned in real estate is how to best like assess the situation of someone else. Is it a problem? How can I solve it? And so that's what makes me stay an
Mhm.
agent. But even through the hectic times, it gets discouraging sometimes because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need some clients. And then out of
Right.
nowhere, I'm like, here go my $4 million townhouses that I've been waiting for all my life that are under new construction that I'm looking forward to.
Wow.
They'll be completed in May 2025. But that comes from
Nice.
being out and being open. Like sometimes I'll
Mhm.
meet clients at restaurants when I'm sitting at the bar eating my seven salad. So I'm like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
glad I came in here to get me a seven salad, you know?
Right.
So I'm just appreciative of that. I'm appreciative that I have, educated myself on how to become the most knowledgeable agent and how to make for sure that I have something to give to people. And that's the value of knowing the power of real estate.
That's awesome. I love that. So if you're in the Nashville area and you're listening, Kirsten is an amazing real estate agent. If you're looking for something, condo, house, like she said, she does it all. So, yeah, that's so fun. And you're just like crushing it influencing too. We met at an event last week and it was called Heels and Handshakes and Jasmine Sweet spoke and it was just an amazing talk that she gave. And we did, what does she call it again? It's
A
like
strut.
your
When you stretch it,
struts,
yeah.
yeah.
When you
Yeah,
talk about something
and
you're excited about and something like a promotion or anything that you're thriving
mhm.
in.
Yeah, and you said that some of your videos just hit, like, 1,000,000 views on your Instagram account, is that right?
So what happened is we've been having special guests. So my content overall received 1.4 million views within 30 days.
Awes
I know. I was like,
amazing,
never would I imagine it would happen that
congrats.
fast. Thank you so much. I was shocked. I was like,
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. And so when I looked at
Right.
when I looked at the professional dashboard on my Instagram, I was like, oh, look at that. And like when
It's
I
got an
tell you
yeah.
yeah, it has that M. Love it. The M stands
Yeah.
for million. So that was like a pretty
Uh,
big deal. That was a highlight moment for this year
that's
because
so
when I tell
cool.
you my year started off so rocky, nobody would probably ever believe what I went through. But you have
Mm,
to dust yourself off. And I even said that in my strut. Like, I've been through a
mhm.
lot. Like, I was in the hospital the first week of January. And I was like, what is going on
Wow.
with me? Like, I'm needing a lot of help and support right now. And it's like I depend so much on myself. And that's why I'm so grateful for the connections and the support systems that I do have. And so I'm grateful for Jasmine because she invited me to the event with her and I was able to support her as a friend and I'm always going to be a proud friend. So kudos to Jasmine Sweet, who is a phenomenal woman.
Yeah,
And she
she's so
definitely
cool.
she motivates me and inspires me every single day. Just to be able to call her and pick up the phone and brainstorm with her and go to the influencer events and she's like managing me. So some of my things that I do in my life are on autopilot because I have that support system. Like Nicole runs the podcast, so I have to show up and sometimes do the homework and watch the trash TV shows and reply about them on our podcast, or review
Yeah.
the attachment styles and talk about the attachment styles on our podcast. So I'm
I listened to that one.
appreciative.
That one's really good.
I didn't have any idea about attachment styles and how I've been living my life with some of those. I was like, oh my
Right.
gosh, that was like a light
Yeah.
bulb moment for me. And it's just like, we are always life learners. We're lifelong
Mhm.
learners. Like, you learn something new every single day. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love to learn something new. I like to have new topic discussions. And that's another reason why I appreciate the podcast. I appreciate Jasmine Sweet, because Jasmine Sweet is full of knowledge too. Like, that is my girl. And so she's always put
Mhm.
me in rooms and put me in positions to where I can network. That's how I met you. And when you came up to me, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is so sweet. Like, yes, of course, I'll come on your podcast. I love that we have something
Yay.
in common, you know? And it's
Totally.
just like
Yeah. I
having that in
know.
common with someone and being able to bond and being able to understand the struggle and being able to understand the highlight moments and the work that you're putting in. Like, you're killing it too, Alyssa. And so it's just like, of course, like, why would I not
Thanks.
support you? Like, it was like, let's go. Like, that wasn't even a real question to me. I'm like, you want me to
Yeah.
what? Girl, yes.
I
Like, of
love
course.
it.
Like,
You're
women
so sweet.
supporting
That was so
women.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah. We
totally. I
we have
know.
to
And I
support
love
each
shining
other.
a light. Totally. Love shining a light on your story and everything that you have going on. So, where can people find you online? Where can we give you a follow and follow along with all of your content and the podcast and everything?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys my first personal way to find me. It's Kirsten,
Okay.
Kirstenr, for Renee, Grimes, Grimes. It's my whole name on Instagram, all my business. So that's my first handle on Instagram. And then our D List Diaries Instagram is D as in D, like Delta. List, List Diary. So D List Diaries. And that's all one word on Instagram. And so you can find me at Kirsten R. Grimes at Instagram and D List Diaries on Instagram. That's the best way to find me. Like, it's so easy. You just log right on there
Awesome.
and type it right on in.
Yeah, awesome. This was so great. And also watch Married at First Sight Nashville season 16 and you can learn more about Kirsten there too. So,
Yeah,
thank you
don't
so
watch
much for
it.
coming. Don't.
Don't watch it.
Okay.
They can watch it on Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime. It's three ways to watch it.
Yes.
Just watch me on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
My influencer life, going all the
Oh,
places, doing all the
yes.
things.
I
I'll share
know. It
them.
is kind of fun. You sort of like have your own TV show on your Instagram account, which is great. So,
Exactly. When I
yeah.
met Nigel Barker, Alyssa, I was freaking out. I was like, this is one of the best
Oh
events that
my
I've been to. I was like,
gosh.
oh my gosh, want to be on top.
He's amazing.
He
Seriously,
is.
yes. I love that show. It's so good.
Yes, and so I just love being an influencer is fun, and like the
Yeah.
people that definitely follow me, they get to kind of like be with me virtually. And sometimes
Mhm.
when I look at some influencers, I know we're about to wrap this, but sometimes when I look at some influencers, like they show you every single second of their life. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to apply my lip gloss. Oh my gosh, here's Nigel
Yeah.
Barker. I'm walking in the building right now. I'm closing the door on my car. And it's like sometimes I do want to take you through the day with me, but I'm too nervous and that's a lot of work. And sometimes I don't like hearing myself
Mhm.
talk. A lot of people don't know that.
Mhm.
But
I
I don't
get
like hearing
that.
myself talk on Instagram. When I play it back, I'm like, I cringe. I'm like, my voice is so cringe. But yeah, I struggle. I
Well, it's
digress.
great. It's fun. We love learning all about you and what you have going on, but I get it with yeah, same with me. I'm like, I haven't put makeup on today. I'm not going to put a camera on my face right now. Like nobody needs to
Yeah.
see this. Like I totally have the same thing with what I do too. So yeah.
Seriously. Only if people
Yeah.
knew what goes into this. See, we can
I
relate.
know. Yeah, we can for sure. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It was so fun to chat with you. Go follow
Likewise.
her. All right. Bye.
Bye, Alyssa. Thank you.
There you have it. Another episode of the Wedding Reporter podcast. To see those gorgeous wedding and engagement photos, head over to NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more behind the scenes content. And if you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would rate and subscribe the show. See you next time for another great episode.